Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Tho and EnTe. This game taking place here on Tide Hunters. Tho spawning as the random orc player here at what I will call the 10 or 11 o'clock position of Tide Hunters. Meanwhile, across on the other side of the map, EnTe spawning as the orange undead. Undead versus Orc in a 1v1 matchup here. We are going to be looking at, well, a Death Knight going up against a Farseer. No big surprises in terms of the heroes, as we are already looking at an early scout by the Acolyte to make sure he knows what race he's going up against, and, well, knows that he will be going up against Farseer Headhunters. Coming back around, we are seeing ghouls already making their way out. Death Knight going to perhaps pick up a Rod of Necromancy and try and clear out some early creep camps as this game does get underway. What is the overall strategy between these players, as we're looking at the Spirit Wolves already making a little bit of a play, racking up a little bit of damage. Skeletal minions now chasing after the Farseer here, and this is important to note. Tho is actually winning out in this fight right now, just because if he's able to disrupt any of the creeping. Are we going to see a last hit right there? Yes, last hit, Death Coil to pick up the Slippers of Agility, now trying to add up a little bit more damage as well. Farseer, however, that Spirit Wolf will be able to back away as he summons a new round of Spirit Wolves to deny some experience. All right, more damage still coming across here. Who's going to get that final shot off of Death Coil onto that there, as the Farseer does get a final hit there. Death Knight now getting the surround onto some of those Spirit Wolves, as one low hit point ghoul is trying to get away. Death Knight does have a Death Coil ready to go if necessary. That ghoul is down to 38 hit points. Will it be able to survive back on Blight? That is the question there, as the Death Knight now makes its way back off to the north. All right, another shot there, 26 hit points, but back on Blight. Oh, down to 15. Things could be very bad for the Ghoul. Back on Blight, and now up to 24. 13. Is it going to be able to survive here? No, Ghoul does end up getting taken down as the Farseer gets that long distance experience. Death Knight, hello Collywog. Death Knight off to the north here, trying to clear up some more of these creep camps as well. Picks up a Cloak of Shadows and now is well on his way to level 2. Meanwhile, the Farseer has taken down, it looks as though, another Ghoul to be able to get 100 or perhaps some skeletal minions to perhaps be able to get some additional experience there, as the Farseer, well, gets denied the experience there. Hey Metaphysics, long time no see, as we're still looking at an engagement getting underway. EnTe using a Cloak of Shadows pretty aggressively, being able to Death Coil that last unit there. Meanwhile, the Farseer getting in some easy kills onto some of these Skeletal Warriors as well. Alright, Skeletal Warriors gets denied there. Spirit Wolves trying to engage against the Snapper, as the Farseer heads off to the north to clear out creep camps here. Could get to level 2 very easily. Meanwhile, the Death Knight being forced to retreat all the way back and now perhaps transition into Crypt Fiends. The ghouls are ready to go for some action here, as the Death Knight wants to get level 2 as well and perhaps get that Unholy Aura for that faster movement speed. So behind this is going for a fast expansion, not the quickest out of the gate, but is already teching the tier, or no, not is already at tier 2 as well. So this is going to be a very, very aggressive expansion here, and we'll see if EnTe can capitalize on all of this expansion and perhaps build a large enough army to put pressure on to that expansion at the 12 o'clock position. If in another lifetime that ghoul would have survived, yeah, maybe. Coming back around here, Skeletal Minions cleaning things up here. Death Knight now wandering back, already picking up dual Claws of Attack +5 for a total damage of +10. Very, very good auto attack damage there, as the Death Knight of EnTe looking to see where his opponent possibly is. Off to the north here, we see a Great Hall, well, about nearing halfway construction. Skeletal Minions could be joining in on this fight once that Rod of Necromancy charge is ready to go. And here we are, a bit of pressure as the Death Knight does get to level 3. Level 3 Death Knight could put some easy damage onto some of those units. Staff of Teleportation inbound for the Farseer to try and pick off some of those units, as level 2 wolves are now already out here on the battlefield, taking down each of these headhunters one at a time and also getting the cancellation. That's exactly what EnTe was looking for, as EnTe now may need to back away here. All right, where are all of these units going? Perhaps trying to take down that last headhunter, being a bit greedy, as the Death Knight now needs to retreat back very low on hit points. Come back down across here. We are looking at the Lich getting added in. Tech to tier 2 has been started. Slaughterhouse also being added. And, well, no big surprises here. EnTe going for a classic play style. Getting that Lich most likely will be giving those claws of attack +5 over there as well, and getting in perhaps an obsidian statue and destroyer. Tech to tier 3 is going to be incredibly important, but Tho is set back just a little bit as there was this expansion attempt that seems to be cancelled a number of times. We are still only at tier 2, and we are going into dual bestiary with a Wind Rider and now transitioning into Raiders. All right, a lot of items being left behind here for that Lich. Lich going to be doing a little bit of additional damage per attack there with that superior range and able to take down that Wind Rider as well. Death Knight, Rod of Necromancy, trying to put pressure onto the Great Hall. Great Hall already absorbing quite a bit of damage. What is that? A little bit of damage onto that Wind Rider. Wind Rider down to 156 hit points already as we are looking at some critical strikes taking down those skeletal minions. Lich continuing to battle it up. Death Knight could have a very bad day, but so could that Lich as we see another Frost Nova go down. Death Knight now needs to retreat back. There is Endurance Aura first, which makes the Tauren Chieftain a little bit faster here as the Death Knight may turn back around, get a Death Coil onto the Lich so that he can try and repeat this process again. Death Knight, however, a little bit worse for wear. Are we going to perhaps see that Lizard pop out a couple of skeletal minions? Cloak of Shadows just standing absolutely still and then walks into the Farseer and Tauren Chieftain. Death Knight now in some serious trouble, down to 98 hit points, needs to retreat back. And where is the army of the undead? That is the question, as the Death Knight purposely slows down for the Lich to give the Lich that movement speed bonus as well. Lich now making its way back down, and it looks, well, we are going to be having these units clean things up once more. Lich will be able to survive. Is any experience going to be given? That is the question here, as we are now looking at the Tauren Chieftain and the Farseer. This is just continuing to be a big bait, as Obsidian Statue now finally joining out here onto the battlefield. All right, Death Knight going to be able to regenerate a good amount of hit points, as it looks as though that Spirit Wolf will be backing off. Lich now making its way over as well, down to 216 hit points, but somehow still able to, well, threaten a Frost Nova and some auto attacks in just a moment. We are going to be looking at the Lich getting that Orb of Corruption as well here in just a moment, and now we are going to be going into a very heavy push. Death Knight adding in a Potion of Healing just in case he gets pressured a bit more. Lich going to get that Orb of Corruption plus 15 damage straight out of the gate, and that auto attack damage can add up very fast. Coming back through, Death Knight, Ghouls, Crypt Fiends, Obsidian Statues making their way out. Only one Obsidian Statue being trained. We are going into Ghoul Frenzy once more, as Tho does have this expansion off to the north. This is going to be a very big economic advantage here. If it continues to mine out freely, 47 supply compared to 38. Thank you for the sub. Every sub does definitely help, as we're looking at the elementals. We'll try to get cleared up here. Pit Lord as the third and final hero instead of the Dark Ranger or the Nagasi, which interesting call there, as he is going into Howl of Terror to try and reduce the amount of damage that those units are dealing. Howl of Terror, Pit Lord, coupled with Cleave, allows the Pit Lord to just dive into a battle scene and be able to absorb a lot more damage, just because much of that damage is going to be mitigated from that Howl of Terror, and also the Death Knight able to use Death Coil on the Pit Lord to do a very strong burst heal. All right, Pit Lord rushing on in. Are we going to see that Howl of Terror here? There's that Howl of Terror, greatly reducing the amount of damage the Wind Riders are dealing. Ghoul, low hit point Ghoul, gets a Death Coil and is saved. Crypt Fiends now getting ensnared, as one Crypt Fiend does get taken down, giving level 3 to that Tauren Chieftain. That could be very bad news indeed, as the level 3 Tauren Chieftain with level 2 Stomp can really take down many of those units, as we see a double level up once more. Lich and the Pit Lord both level up here. Who is engaging better? That is the question, as more Wind Riders are coming out. We are seeing a couple of webs come down. Howl of Terror could be used again to try and reduce the amount of damage, as we see a Potion of Healing used by the Death Knight. Death Knight now looking to back away. There's a Frost Nova as well. Crypt Fiend gets saved once more, as there is just auto attacks galore. Lich needs a lot more mana to stay alive, as another Crypt Fiend gets taken down, giving level 4 to the Farseer. Level 4 Farseer, level 3 Tauren Chieftain going up against level 3 Death Knight, level 2 Pit Lord, level 2 Lich, as both sides still fighting their way through. EnTe doesn't have a second obsidian statue, so mana is actually very scarce as the Death Knight still wandering around. Death Coil onto the Lich, saved temporarily as they're still fighting every which way. Raiders now joining in on the battle as well as we are looking at those Envenom Spears. It looked like, no, that is not, was that Envenom Spears? I don't believe so. We are only at Stronghold, so no Envenom Spears. Not quite sure what that green stuff I was looking at was. Perhaps it was that Essence of Blight, as we are looking at an Orc Burrow about to get taken down. Lich needing a little bit more mana as well, only getting Essence of Blight, not Essence of Mana. Now going to get caught and stuck here. Frost Armor, Death Coil does save temporarily, but how long will it last? Death Knight is in some serious trouble as the Lich gets taken down, and no more Frost Novas. Wind Riders now pushing their way through over the top, should be able to easily pick off some of these Obsidian statues that made their way over, and EnTe, not having the mana for a Frost Nova, quickly allows his Lich to get overwhelmed and surrounded. All right, units continuing to make their way back down. He should have saved that one, but that was too well, that early Howl of Terror is important, but he was unable to get off subsequent Howl of Terrors to greatly reduce the amount of damage on the remaining army. Pit Lord now looking to perhaps level up. Death Knight still sitting at level 3, and Tho is just doing an absolutely great job with this expansion here. It is 2 bases to 1. He is starting to build his hero level advantage and has a sizable, well, very sizable army size advantage, 50 supply compared to 37. The Wind Riders are pretty much going completely unchallenged, and there's not enough Crypt Fiends to really, well, pluck them out of the sky just quite yet. All right, Pit Lord continuing to... the Pit Lord's green cleave attack. That's what I was looking at right there. That cleave attack spreading damage across multiple units if they are standing next to each other as the Lich makes its way out onto the battlefield. 2 Obsidian statues is better than 1. Lich should be able to get mana and hit points together, but the timing of this attack, could it be any more perfect? Are they going to engage? There's the engage, and now, well, pretty much stuck in a really tough spot. Howl of Terror could be huge here. Where's that Howl of Terror? Waiting for it. There's a Death Coil. Howl of Terror is necessary to try and reduce the amount of damage these Wind Riders are dealing, but they are still dealing full damage here, going after all of those units. All right, continuing to put in that pressure. There goes a Raider now getting taken down. Farseer now shows up to the party. Wind Riders could all get picked off pretty easily as well, as we're looking at the Pit Lord now sitting at level 3. What is going to be his level 2 ability? It is Howl of Terror, but he has still yet to use it in this fight to try and slow down the damage output of this army. All right, Murloc Nightcrawler, level 3, Lightning Shield causing a bit of problems. Obsidian Statue in a bit far away as the Wind Riders with minus 15 damage. That is a great reduction in damage as the Death Knight falls at level 4. Level 4 Death Knight falls. This may be the end, as the Howl of Terror was just a little bit late trying to reduce the amount of damage that was done. Level 3 Pit Lord falls as well, and that most likely is gonna be the game. Yep, there is the game right there as Tho finishes off EnTe. A little bit of a questionable move, not waiting for level 2 Howl of Terror before trying to use it. Perhaps that little bit of a damage or debuff could have turned the tide of that battle early on. With that, though, it would have been an uphill climb. EnTe still having to deal with a much larger army. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.